The story begins on a rain-soaked evening, where the rhythmic patter of drops against the windows mirrors Emma Lewis's quiet despair. Recently separated from her husband, Daniel, Emma trudges home through the dim suburban street, her silhouette blurred by the drizzle. The neighborhood seems ordinary: trimmed hedges, warm porch lights, yet the air feels heavy, charged with something unspoken. As she steps into her yard, she notices Liam Walker, the 21-year-old son of her neighbors, standing motionless by the fence. His clothes are drenched, his hair plastered to his forehead, but his eyes, haunted and guilty, fix on her with unbearable intensity. At first, Emma pretends not to notice him. She is tired, guarded, and in no mood for another reminder of how her life has unraveled. But Liam's stillness is unsettling. Not the awkwardness of a young man, but the quiet of someone carrying a burden too heavy to speak. When he finally breaks the silence, his voice trembles. "I shouldn't have seen it. I shouldn't have told him." The words cut through the rain like a blade. Confusion flickers across Emma's face, quickly replaced by dread. The implication is clear. Liam saw something he was never meant to, and his confession shattered the fragile balance of her marriage. The scene's power lies in its subtlety. The storm outside mirrors the storm between them. Emma's whisper, "You ruined everything," is less accusation than heartbreak. In that moment, thunder cracks, and the story flashes to fragmented memories. A broken vase on the floor, a scream echoing through the house, a door slammed in fury. The viewer senses an emotional crime has occurred: betrayal, guilt, and irreversible damage. The suburban calm now feels deceptive, like a mask hiding chaos beneath. This haunting opening sets the tone for an intimate mystery where love, regret, and secrets intertwine dangerously close to home. Emma Lewis had once been the kind of woman who brought warmth into every room, an interior designer who could turn emptiness into elegance. But 3 months after Daniel walked out, her once beautiful home felt hollow, stripped of color and laughter. The echoes of their shared life lingered: the empty side of the bed, his untouched coffee mug, the faint scent of his cologne that refused to fade. Alone now, Emma filled her days with work and silence, trying to design spaces for others while her own world remained in ruins. Her suburban home became a quiet cage, each neighbor's curious glance another reminder of her public heartbreak. Next door lived Liam Walker, the son of Nancy, a warm-hearted widow who treated Emma like family. Emma had known Liam since he was a quiet, thoughtful boy, polite, observant, often lost in books. When her marriage began to crumble, Liam became an unexpected presence, not out of romance, but empathy. Late at night, when arguments with Daniel left Emma trembling, she'd find herself outside, speaking softly across the fence to Liam. He never judged, only listened, his calm sincerity offering comfort she hadn't felt in years. Their connection grew quietly, word by word, in the shadow of her failing marriage. But suburbia notices everything. Whispers started about the late-night talks, the laughter, the way Liam's eyes lingered. When Daniel heard the rumors, rage consumed him. One night, he confronted Emma, shouting that Liam had told him everything. The fight that followed was brutal. Words turned into accusations, and by morning, Daniel was gone. Since that night, Emma has been trapped between guilt and suspicion. Did Liam truly betray her? Or did Daniel twist the truth to justify leaving? The moral lines blur, leaving Emma lost in a fog of doubt, torn between resentment, grief, and the faint ache of something unspoken that still ties her to Liam. The breaking point arrives quietly. A plain white envelope in Emma's mailbox, heavy with dread. Inside, the words slice through her like glass. Daniel is filing for full custody of their 8-year-old daughter, Sophie. Her world tilts. The accusations are cruel, claims of emotional instability and inappropriate influence. phrases that turn her love into something shameful. But what twists the knife deeper is the revelation of Daniel's supposed witness. The name printed there freezes her blood: Liam Walker. The boy who once listened to her pain now stands, at least on paper, as the one who might take her child away. Emma confronts Liam that evening, rain threatening again, the air thick with tension. She stands at the fence that once held their confidences and now feels like a barrier of betrayal. Nancy, Liam's mother, watches nervously from behind the curtain, sensing the storm outside mirrors the one within her son. Liam's face is pale, his words tumbling in panic. He insists he never meant harm, that Daniel manipulated him, twisted fragments of their conversations into false accusations. He swears Daniel secretly recorded him, using his empathy against them both. But Emma's pain blinds her to reasoning. All she hears is that his voice destroyed her world. That night, Sophie finds her mother crying softly in the dark. Her small voice trembles as she says, "Mom, he didn't look happy when he said bye." The innocence in those words pierces Emma's anger. For the first time, she wonders if Liam's betrayal was more complex than she allowed herself to believe. If guilt and manipulation have trapped him as well. Yet forgiveness feels impossible. The fence, once their place of solace, now divides more than yards. It marks the boundary between trust and heartbreak, love and resentment. Emma's tears turn from grief to resolve, her silence hardening into quiet defiance. Daniel's campaign against Emma unfolds like a slow, suffocating storm. Through legal filings and whispered rumors, he paints her as unhinged, emotionally volatile, a danger to their daughter. Once friendly neighbors now avert their eyes, their smiles brittle with judgment. Emma, desperate to defend herself, begins gathering evidence, voice recordings, bank statements, every text that proves her stability. But Daniel's reach extends further than she expected. Friends withdraw their support. Her workplace grows distant. Even her lawyer warns her of Daniel's connections. Alone again, Emma feels trapped in a web of deceit she can't escape, her reputation unraveling thread by thread. Yet amid the wreckage, Liam refuses to disappear. He mends her garden gate without asking, leaves small notes addressed to Sophie, and lingers near the fence as if trying to rebuild what he once broke. Emma resents his presence, but can't deny the sincerity in his quiet gestures. One night, she finds him sitting by the fence under the dim porch light, sketching something. It's Sophie's favorite stuffed rabbit, torn in half. When she demands to know why, his answer is soft and heavy, "Because I broke it too." In that moment, she sees not guilt alone, but grief through halting conversations. Emma begins to see the pieces of Liam's past. His father, a man of cruel temper, once shattered his mother's spirit, leaving scars that never fully healed. Daniel had exploited that weakness, manipulating Liam with false trust and guilt until he unknowingly betrayed Emma. The realization twists something in her heart. The boy she blamed had been a pawn in Daniel's cruelty. Slowly, anger gives way to understanding. Emma starts to rebuild her strength, not through revenge, but through clarity. The fence that once divided them becomes a fragile bridge again, marking the beginning of her emotional and legal fight to reclaim her voice. The day of the custody hearing feels like the final act of a long, painful play. Emma enters the courtroom composed but hollow-eyed, clutching the pendant Sophie made for her as a lucky charm. Across the aisle, Daniel stands tall and smug, his expensive suit gleaming, his lawyer already poised to attack. The air crackles with tension as he presents Liam's statement, the same testimony that once shattered Emma's credibility. The judge listens impassively while whispers ripple through the audience. To everyone, it seems Daniel's victory is certain. But beneath Emma's quiet demeanor lies something unseen, a truth ready to detonate. When her turn comes, Emma rises slowly and presses play on a small recording device. Daniel's voice fills the courtroom, sharp, venomous, undeniable. The recording captures him threatening Liam, vowing to destroy Emma's life unless the boy testified against her. The words echo like a gunshot. Gasps erupt. Even the judge leans forward. Liam, trembling, stands up and admits everything. That Daniel manipulated him, exploited his fears, and twisted his compassion into betrayal. Tears streak down his face as he turns to Emma and says, "She was the only person who ever saw me as more than my father's mistake." The courtroom falls silent, heavy with realization. In that moment, Daniel's mask of control shatters. His arrogance drains away, replaced by panic as the judge orders an investigation into coercion and suspends his custody. Petition. The victory isn't loud or triumphant. It's quiet, like the end of a storm. Emma doesn't gloat. She simply exhales, the weight of months lifting off her shoulders. For the first time, she feels seen, not as a victim, but as a mother who fought with grace and truth. Liam's redemption, Daniel's downfall, and Emma's quiet dignity bring the story full circle. Justice served, hearts mended, and the fence between them no longer a wall, but a memory. Weeks after the hearing, the neighborhood slowly exhales. Daniel, once the picture of charm and control, leaves town in quiet disgrace. Rumors fade into sympathy for Emma, who now walks with a steadiness that wasn't there before. She regains full custody of Sophie, and the two begin to rediscover laughter, morning pancakes, bedtime stories, small joys that once felt impossible. Emma channels her pain into purpose, opening a modest design studio downtown. For the first time in years, she creates not to escape, but to express herself. Her life, once dismantled by deceit, begins to bloom again in quiet, graceful defiance. One warm afternoon, she finds Liam by the fence, brush in hand, repainting the weathered wood that once stood as their silent battlefield. The smell of fresh paint mixes with sunlight and the distant laughter of Sophie chasing butterflies. Emma joins him, and for a long moment, they paint in silence. There is no need for apologies or explanations anymore. The fence, once scarred by secrets and tears, now gleams white, a symbol of forgiveness and renewal. Emma glances at Liam, seeing not the boy who betrayed her, but the young man who helped her heal. When the final stroke dries, Emma turns to him, her voice soft but steady. "You were just a kid caught in the storm," she says, her words carrying compassion instead of blame. Liam's smile is faint, but his reply holds quiet strength. "You taught me to stand in the rain." Their exchange isn't romantic. It's human, pure, and redemptive. They share a moment of understanding that needs no future promises. As the sun sets over the newly painted fence, Emma realizes that some endings don't require love to be beautiful, only truth, forgiveness, and the courage to begin again. A year later, peace finally settles over Emma's life like soft morning light. Her backyard, once overgrown and neglected, now bursts with color, roses, lavender, and the same daisies Sophie once planted with Daniel before everything fell apart. Sophie's laughter fills the air as she plays by the fence, her joy effortless, pure. Emma watches her daughter and feels a stillness inside that she hasn't known in years. The house, the garden, the quiet hum of life, all of it feels earned. The scars remain, but they no longer ache. They've simply become part of the landscape of her healing. From across the fence, Liam appears one last time, taller now, older, his sketchbook tucked under his arm. He tells her he's leaving for art school, a new beginning far from the neighborhood that once held so many ghosts. They talk for a while, gently, like old friends who share a silent understanding of everything that's past. Then he waves, his smile faint but full of gratitude, and walks away down the familiar street. When Emma later opens the small sketchbook he left behind, She finds a drawing of that first rainy night, two figures by a fence, separated yet connected neath the sketch. His words are written in small, careful letters. Some fences don't divide people, they protect them until they're ready to walk on their own. Emma's breath catches. She closes the book slowly, her eyes glistening, looking out at the freshly painted fence, sunlight spilling through the narrow gaps. She feels something inside her finally let go. "Goodbye, Liam," she whispers, voice trembling but peaceful. "Thank you." The wind stirs, carrying the scent of blooming flowers. It's not an ending of sorrow, but of release, a quiet, cinematic farewell that leaves only grace in its wake.